Hello girls and guys, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to RoboThoughts Zero to Hero series. Alright guys, we are in our most excellent series Robotics and Vision Intelligence on Jetson Nano. So guys, let's take a quick recap of how far we have come along, right? So we started with a very basics of Python on Linux terminal using Jetson Nano, logged in through PuTTY remotely, and I showed you about 100 different chapters, lessons on basics of Python coding, right? And then we started with setting up the Jetson Nano, and then I showed you very basic fundamental aspects of some of the computer vision stuffs like object detection, image recognition, face recognition, and we did install a couple of open source libraries, and we did install some of the pre-trained neural network, and I showed you how to get hands-on into that and stuff like that, right? Of course, I'm going to show you how to build our own neural network from scratch at a later stage once we get more advanced, all right? And then I showed you how to install robotic operating system, that is ROS package, in your Jetson Nano, and then I showed you a couple of other configurations and stuff, and now we are in lesson number 20. I'm going to show you something interesting. This is called ROS Serial. Okay, so this is basically basically a package which will allow your Jetson Nano to communicate with Arduino, okay, Arduino microcontroller. So this is very helpful, guys, to build autonomous robot. In order to control your motors, it could be a two-wheel differential drive, or it can be a four-wheel drive robot, or adding some more servo motors to the Arduino pins, and make a lot of magic, right? This is very important. So how do we make sure that Arduino is talking to Jetson Nano, right? You can just, unlike your Windows machine, you just cannot plug into the USB and install the Arduino IDE from Arduino site and start coding. It's not going to work like that, guys. You need to interact. You need to make sure that your ROS into this brain which we had installed is communicating with Arduino, right? And that is where your ROS serial will come into picture. So what does that mean? So let's take a look, guys. So if you get into ROS wiki or any other source on the internet, there are millions and millions of documents and videos and tutorials and stuff like that which will talk about ROS serial and tons of commands and helper packages and kind of thing. You will really get lost. I did a lot of R&D, and I tend to get lost and try to compile the best possible method to make Jetson Nano to work with Arduino using ROS serial. All right, so I will show you systematic step-by-step few lines of commands to set up your Arduino environment and the ROS serial environment in Jetson Nano in such a way that you can immediately start accessing and playing around with some sample examples, and then we will take it forward from there. Alright guys, let's get into Jetson Nano. I am already logged in. Alright, now what I'm going to do, give me a second. Let me try to enlarge the screen. Alright, so let me open a terminal. You need to right click on your Jetson Nano, open the terminal. Let me make this terminal window a little bigger so that you guys can see what I am doing very clearly. Just give me a second. Alright, so guys, what we need to do, first we need to run an update. Okay, how do we do that? Sudo space apt minus get space update. Okay, and this will depend upon how frequently you are running update. I would recommend every time you log into Jetson Nano, you run a quick update. It's very important, guys. All right, done. Let me clear the terminal. Remember the clear command I taught you earlier. That's going to keep your terminal clean. All right, now what we need to do, we need to we need to start installing Arduino IDE, and this is not something like how we do for the Windows operating system, right? Directly from the site. I'll show you a command which is going to install your core package of Arduino IDE, not the actual IDE, not the actual GUI based IDE where you can see a icon on your desktop, you can double click and open. No, it's not going to work like that, and that will lead to a lot of other issues, especially in ROS melodic, right? So we need to install the core version. So how do we install? Sudo space apt-get install space Arduino minus core. Okay, there you go. It's read yes. It asks for yes or no. You need to obviously say why. Yes, and that's going to take couple of minutes. It depends upon your network again. It's unpacking. It's not throwing up any error, so that's a good news. Let's give it a couple of seconds. All right, there you go. Now what we need to do, let me clear this terminal. Okay, all right, now that we had installed the IDE, the core IDE, okay, the next step is we need to install the packages that will allow the communication between the ROS which you installed on Jetson Nano and the serial port of Arduino board. So all right, so this is your serial port, guys. So this is your serial port of Arduino, and you are connecting this through to any one of the USBs of Jetson Nano, right? So we need to make sure that the ROS, the robotic operating system which you install in Jetson Nano, is communicating to Arduino. That is the most important aspect. It's very, very critical, super critical. And remember, guys, we install melodic version, so there are changes to that and so, but I'm going to take you through in a very easy way. So the package for that is called ROS Serial. Okay, ROS Serial for Arduino, which will basically allow the node that will run on Arduino to publish and subscribe from Jetson Nano to Arduino. So I am going to talk about publish and subscribe in a different in an upcoming lesson. So do not get confused with these jargons, especially for the newcomers into robotics and this particular series. Do not get confused. There are tons of jargons used in ROS like publisher, node, subscriber, that, this, blah, blah. Do not get confused. So I am going to talk about that in detail and walk you through step by step so that you get hands-on rather than just a theoretical knowledge. All right, guys. So the ROS Serial package basically comes with a bundled package for the messages, and also it comes with a ROS client, and also it comes with Python package. So it's very easy for us to do some coding and make your motors and sensors to work along with Jetson Nano. Alright, guys, so this is what we got to do. So what we need to do is execute this command sudo apt-get install ros-melodic-rosserial-arduino. MELODIC melodic minus ROS SERIAL ROS serial minus Arduino sudo apt minus get space install space ROS minus melodic minus ROS serial minus Arduino. Alright, there you go. Okay, it's asking whether yes or no. I would say yes. Let it go through. So this is going to take few seconds. Alright, reading the package, which is a good news, and it's installing smooth for ROS melodic. As far as you guys don't see any error, alright, there you go. Now let me clear the terminal. Now what we need to do, we need to set up and install ROS serial. So sudo space apt minus get install ROS minus MELODIC melodic minus ROS SERIAL ROS serial. There you go. Alright, so this is pulling the package now and compiling it together. Alright, this is gonna take few seconds. It's done. There you go. It's pretty fast, guys. Remember, I am on a very high speed network, so this purely depends upon what kind of network you are operating in. Alright, okay, now guys, the most important aspect. Now we installed it, we compiled it. That doesn't mean that your Jetson Nano, you just simply plug your Arduino into this and it's going to talk. No, that's not the way. So you need to give administrative rights to your Jetson Nano. It's a kind of privilege, right? So that your Jetson Nano accesses the serial port of Arduino. Okay, and it starts communicating. It's like a marriage between these two boards. Alright guys, so how do we do that? Here you go. You need to give this, execute this command sudo, okay, and then usermod space minus a space minus uppercase G dialout dialout dialout. Okay, and then you need to put your username. I am going to put my username anbu anbu. This is my username. You need to put your username, guys. Do not just copy what I am doing. All right, there you go. Good, there is no error because it just accepted, right? So you just gave the administrative privileges to your Jetson Nano to access through the serial port into Arduino. Alright, now what we need to do, let's open Arduino. So the way to open, if you see guys, on the desktop there is nothing, right? You don't see any Arduino IDE and stuff like that, so you can't find it. So the way you are going to open Arduino in Jetson Nano is you need to give this command Arduino command not found. So that means there is some issue, right? So I think the package which we just installed has actually not compiled it properly. So we need to check why. So let's do one thing. Let's get into this folder. There you go. So basically, after you initiate the dialout space your username twice, it initiates. So guys, this might show some error, but do not get panicked with the kind of error. Can you see fail to load module Canberra GTK module blah blah blah? That's fine, but your Arduino opens up at the background. So now what we will do, guys, I will show you something. Hold on a second. Right, so this is your IDE. Okay, the look and feel is the same like the way you install in your Windows system, but now what we need to do, we have to install a ROS library which is going to basically take the serial commands from ROS and send those commands into your Arduino, right? And that comes with multiple examples and kind of thing, and that is what you will be using very often when you start building your autonomous robot. So what we need to do is, I will not execute the commands because I have already installed all these libraries. It's little tricky though, but I will show you the exact command and follow the same thing exactly step by step what I'm going to show you. Alright, so once you install this IDE, remember guys, first you need to give the user permission. Alright, the administrative privileges on your Jetson Nano, that is this command. And once that is done, you need to type Arduino. So once you type Arduino, you will see this error. Alright, so do not worry about this error. Give it a time. Maybe after a few seconds, you will see this IDE opening up. Okay, and then what you need to do, you can just close it off. You can just close the IDE. And what you need to do is you need to go to the sketch folder. So basically, all the programs in Arduino IDE is stored by default into the sketch folders. Okay, and inside that folder there's something called libraries, so you need to get into that particular folder. So how do you get in there? cd sketch book /libraries libraries. All right, so once you hit enter, you will get into that sketch folder. Okay, and into that particular libraries. All right, in that library folder you will see something called ros_lib lib. Okay, so what you need to do, I'm going to tell you something which is going to be a little shocking. You have to remove that, means you have to delete that. All right, it's a little tricky, but that's the way Jetson Nano works, right? Sometimes once you remove that, it automatically wakes up. It's the same thing, guys, what we did for OpenCV. Do you remember? So, yeah, that's the way. So what you need to do, rm space minus rf space ros underscore lib. And the other reason we are doing this is your ROS lib, this particular library, it will reflect in your the sketch as well as in examples. Ideally it shouldn't happen, it should show either in examples or in your main sketch in Arduino. So once you execute this, rm space minus rf space ros underscore lib, that will remove the duplicities. Okay, so it will be in two different places, one of them it will get deleted. And then what you need to do, all right, this is little lengthy command, ros run space ros serial underscore make underscore libraries 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 dot py. It's basically a Python folder, a file which is there in the one which we downloaded before, right? Space, you need to give the path where you have actually put your sketchbook by default. All right, in my case it's under home and /anbu, my username and the sketchbook. So space /home /my username, in case it will be your username, /sketchbook. Okay guys, if you don't know where exactly how to look for the path, let me just show it to you. So go to this folder on your Jetson Nano. Can you see that? Open that on your desktop. All right, and then you can see something called sketchbook here, the Arduino sketchbook. When we compiled and downloaded, you need to go here, and then there is something called libraries. Double click and you can see ROS underscore lib. So go back again. Okay, click here on this library, right click. Okay, and then you need to go to properties. Right, go to properties, and this is your path, the parent folder, which is, can you see it here, the parent folder here, /home /, so that is your path. Okay, so copy that. Let me show it to you again. Properties. Okay, you can just highlight this path and then right click, you can copy it, and then you can close this window, and you need to put it here. All right, you just delete this. After you type ros run space ros serial underscore make underscore libraries .py, then space, and then you can right click and paste it here. Okay, so this is where you are going to install those libraries for ROS, Python, and that will interact with your IDE, right? So once this is done, guys, this is going to take a few seconds, so wait for it. And then what you do, you type Arduino again and open the IDE. Okay, once you open the IDE, you need to, one second, let me just minimize this, or let me go to the IDE just to double confirm that you have the ROS underscore lib with examples. Go to sketch, go to file, and then here examples. Here you should see, there you go, guys, boom. All right, in examples, can you see there is something called ROS underscore lib. This is your library, and these are all the basic examples which comes along. Okay, say let me select odometry, and there is a sample sketch here. So this particular sketch is going to help you to drive motors and calculate the ticks and kind of thing, which I am going to teach you guys in the later lessons. And now let me try to compile the program into my Jetson Nano. So let me just compile it. Right, and then you can just upload it. Right now let me just see. Yeah, my Arduino is blinking, and at the bottom you can see it's been uploaded successfully. All right, guys, now you have successfully married between Jetson Nano and Arduino, so it works perfect. So what next? Where do we head from here? So guys, this is going to be a long and lengthy series, as I told you in the beginning, right? So now I showed you how to set up and configure ROS Serial, in Jetson Nano, and I showed you how to compile the ROS underscore lib, the library, into your Jetson Nano and connect with your Arduino, and you can download or upload the programs. Right now it's going to get more interesting. Now we are going to start driving some motors and start interacting with sensors and external world. Right, this is where your autonomy will come into picture, and over a period of time, after a couple of lessons, I will show you how to grab the videos and do some object detection, and your robot can move towards those objects or detect and perform some task using the existing pre-trained neural network which we have seen in the previous lessons. Alright guys, that's it for this lesson. I hope you enjoyed, and I am going to be back soon. Until then, do give me a like and thumbs up and subscribe. Bye bye.